If your small business received assistance from the SBA with a COVID economic injury disaster loan and EIDL during the pandemic, today's video is for you. I'm Trevor. I'm the EIDL expert who is currently glowing and basking in the warmth of a wonderful client who we will just use initials GL. We will give GL a title in today's video. GL is a hub hero. If you could take a moment to just hit the thumbs up for this video and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. More than 70% of you folks who watch our videos and tell us in our comments how wonderful our advice is. And if you could just show your gratitude for that just by hitting the thumbs up and by subscribing to the channel, because more than 70% of you are not subscribed. Please show us a little good faith and do those two minimal things if you wouldn't mind. As many of you know, we created something we call the EIDL Resource Hub, which is a comprehensive guidebook, a compendium, if you will, of all of our knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and experience and expertise with the SBA and the COVID EIDL program. Education that for us is ongoing. For the last 5 years, all of our experiences with the program we have distilled into insights, advice, and step-by-step instructions with templates and forms in the EIDL Resource Hub. And we've had a few folks push back over the years telling us how we are hucksters and shills because we're small business owners just trying to make a living and sell our products and services. That having been said, GL purchased our EIDL Resource Hub and then sent us this beautiful email. Linda and I were so moved by this beautiful email. I said to Linda, this person is getting a phone call from me right now. As you may know, one of our services is a 1-hour paid consultation call, but I felt that it just seemed like good karma to express our gratitude to GL for being what we call a hub hero, a hero for having purchased our EIDL Resource Hub. And I called GL, and we had the most lovely conversation, but also an anxiety-filled conversation, a worrisome conversation. I won't say it was depressing, but GL and their partner are facing tremendous challenges with their restaurant business. GL shared with me how during the pandemic, when they tried to come up with different strategies on how to keep their restaurant thriving, how to just survive the pandemic, they basically said to their customers, pay us what you can. Well, that's the part of the phone call where we both started crying. I'm not sure if GL started crying first or if I started crying first, but it was a very emotional moment. As you may have seen in our videos, both Linda and I are tremendously passionate about your success and about your struggles, both during and after the pandemic, in dealing with one of the most dysfunctional of all federal agencies due to the congressional failure to properly pay attention to this agency, fund it, and by extension support you small business owners. But you've seen me do those videos before. And here I was on the phone with this lovely person who was being so vulnerable and sharing with me their struggles during and after the pandemic. They went on to tell me how they and their partner have dipped into their savings to keep their employees employed, to keep their business, their restaurant open. But they have arrived at the point where our bankruptcy video, which we published recently, really resonated with them, and they felt that it touched a place in their hearts and that they needed to seriously consider that. And I came on here today to share with you the emotion of that moment and to remind all of you that we do these videos for very little money. We do these videos out of a commitment to you and a passion for wanting to help you with our expertise and advice. A lot of this charitable giving, if you will, of our advice comes out of both Linda and my previous personal and professional experiences, where not only as parts of our businesses, she was an insurance broker, I was a mortgage banker, not only as parts of our business did we give away connections to other professionals or advice, guidance to people, but we did so with the thinking that if you do that, if you give things away, good things will come back to you. And in my conversation with GL the other day, I revealed to her how on March 18th, 2020, the day after basically lockdown went into effect here in Connecticut, and how in the 48 hours, March 16th and 17th, 2020, Linda and I watched our two businesses evaporate before our eyes because of the COVID pandemic. We did not know about the COVID EIDL program at that point. And on March 18th, I sat down with Linda and I said to her, listen, I've been through this before during the subprime mortgage meltdown and the subsequent recession. I remember in the year after the meltdown how the entire United States, for the purposes of appraising real estate, whether people were buying it or refinancing it, an appraisal was required to include the phrase declining market in the body of the appraisal. This was mandated by all of the federal and quasi-governmental mortgage agencies to lenders and appraisal staffs. Declining market. It's very difficult, if you don't know, to make loans against a property when the borrower is asking you for X amount of dollars, and right now in this moment the house may be worth this amount of money, but because of the sentence declining market, the lender doesn't know where that value is going to be next week, 6 months from now, 10 years from now. And an appraisal is a key element of lending because it gives the lender a crucial component to assess risk apart from the borrower's income, assets, and credit, the valuation. So I lived through that year of declining markets, and I've lived through other insane markets. I've lived through terrible personal circumstances, notably after a really terrible divorce. And I shared this with GL on the phone call the other day. And this is what I wanted to share with you on today's video. This is where our passion comes from. Linda also has experienced similar travails in her personal and professional life. And we come together. We've been together now 10 years. In fact, we literally just celebrated our 10th anniversary yesterday, the day before recording this video. And we committed on March 18th, 2020, to provide you, the small business community, with accurate information. I said to Linda on that day, I said, all the sharks, all the scammers, all the misinformers are going to come out of the woodwork. They're going to come out. The sharks are going to be circling in the water, looking to take advantage of other people in the small business community, or worse, people sharing experiences and sharing incorrect information that is not based on factual evidence from how financial services and how economics and how economies and how capitalism and how running a small business works. And I was right. All of this crap happened in the early days and on through the pandemic, and even now. We have told people on our comments here on YouTube, if you come into the comments with any of your nonsense, we're throwing you out into outer space and you're blocked forever from our channel. Because we don't believe in that kind of crap. On March 18, 2020, we made this commitment to all of you to provide you with this information. And as repayment, all we ask you to do is hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you need assistance with your COVID EIDL, as GL did, there's a link in the description that you can click on. It'll take you to our website, and you'll see what our services and products are that you can purchase to assist you, whether it's a 1-hour consultation call with me or one of our guidebooks, which are created out of the total EIDL Resource Hub. We recently released our guidebook called Fight Back, which is specifically designed for people who have gone through a terrible experience with the SBA right now, whether they applied for a disaster loan and were declined, whether they requested a hardship accommodation and were declined, or a sale of assets permission, or had gone to an SBA-approved lender, were approved for a loan, but that approval triggered what's called a post-funding compliance review, and the SBA came back and said to the lender, you can't lend them that money, and called the applicant, called the business owner who got the COVID EIDL and said, you are barred for life from participating in the SBA program. So the Fight Back guidebook is the only ideas we can come up with to help those folks, those of you who find yourselves in that situation, on how you can fight back against this bureaucracy that's making arbitrary decisions against your best interest and in harming your personal professional reputation. And in some cases, we know of at least 2 instances where they have basically accused the borrower of committing fraud in kind of not so direct terms. That's our Fight Back guidebook. All of our guidebooks that are broken out of the EIDL Resource Hub are available. But back to GL and my lovely conversation with this person. They're still struggling. And while we did discuss the concept of bankruptcy on the call, ultimately, after the call, I realized maybe GL and people like them need some other assistance and guidance and advice from Linda Ray and myself on how you can save your business right now, how you can pivot, change, support, different ideas. And we realized that we created a lot of those ideas already on our other YouTube channel called Simple Sense of Small Business, where we have literally hundreds of videos. And we're working on a new guidebook to help you folks design an action plan to survive and not close your business and not file bankruptcy and not default. And GL, you know I'm looking right at you. And again, GL, thank you for being a hub hero and for putting your trust and your faith in our expertise and putting some money up and buying our product and supporting our channel. And for all the rest of you who support our channel through likes, subscriptions, through purchases, we truly appreciate you and we value you. And we will continue, for the time being, to support all of you with these free videos. I'm Trevor. Thanks for tuning in.